Hello, everybody. How are you doing? So today, my colleague and friend Leo Farberg and myself are going to talk about worry. Why worry? Well, over the last week in particular, a lot of people have been talking to me about worry. They've been talking about anxiety. They've not really used the word anxiety, which is quite interesting, but they have used the word worry quite consistently and considerably as well. And some people have very clear things that they're concerned about in their lives, events in their lives that seem to be outside of their control. Other people seem to be more connected to what's going on in the rest of the world. But yet, the crazy thing is, although they feel this kind of connection with what's going on in the world and they're worrying about it, they feel as though they have no control over it. So then they end up in a loop. And the loop goes, worry about this, realize they have no control, so I worry about that a little bit, and they carry on going around this circle and don't really get anywhere. And it kind of keeps them stuck. They're not progressing in whatever it is they want to progress in. They're kind of stuck in this difficult place. They tell me that their energy is drained. They have no energy. But yet, to do what they need to do, they need energy. But they seem to have lost it for a while. Most of them don't function in the present moment. They're busy thinking about what the future could or could not bring, or what the past did or did not bring. But yet, in the moment where they can manage those things, they're not able to step into that moment and stay there for very long. So that becomes difficult. Somebody talked about worry being like an illusion, because worry gave him the illusion that he was actually doing something. But when we kind of opened up the box a little bit, he wasn't doing anything. Well, he was worrying, he was causing himself a kind of harm in a way. But it was difficult. So, what can we do with this? How can we help? We can talk about a million things that may or may not
Yes.
help. Leo and I have just been doing it before we went into recording this podcast, and we could be here for weeks. But what can we do right now in this moment? What can we do to manage these worries and anxieties?
I find it important for people to know that all these feelings, or better to say sensations, because they're happening in the body, we probably should consider that they are signals. It's not just a constant state, it's not a threat by itself. It's a signal. Your body is perceiving something as threatening, and whatever this something is the next step. Because first, just acknowledge that you are in the state that tries to tell you something. Like something's happening, you gotta be ready, you gotta be attentive, you gotta be, you know, busy. Do something about that because something's happening. But the body doesn't know what. Your mind should know. And for your mind to know, you probably should sit down, take your time, and concentrate of evaluating what's going. Am I worrying about the world politics now? Yeah, maybe, but anything I can do about it? Not really. Should it may it affect me immediately? Well, probably like in a while. Uh, Anything I can do about it? Maybe you should take care about your finance or whatever, but there is not much you can do, and there's some things are big. And when we talk about taking care of yourself in the moment, it's just yes, pay attention to what's going on in your body because your body is your here and now. Uh, try what could can it be? It can be just take a little break. It could be a bit of exercise, not necessarily a big physical exercise for the sake of like muscle building, but for the sake of movement. It may be a walk, it may be some light breathing exercise so that you can feel, oh, I'm safe now in my body. The world may be not safe, but if there is no immediate danger that you can see and point your finger at, you are safe. actually physical, you are safe. So take care of your body, and do whatever simple things to distress yourself you may know. What's your favorite exercise, Steve? What
Well, I have
de-stressing
a
you?
ton of those exercises, but a thought, just before I talk about some of those, a thought just
Sometimes a
occurred.
choice, sorry, sometimes a choice is a stress. So what's
Yeah,
your favorite?
just 1 minute. A
Yeah,
thought just occurred as you were talking. And the thought is this: worry takes a great deal of imagination.
yeah.
It really does. There's a lot of imagination involved. So, in a way, worry is a misuse of our imagination. So, how can we turn it around? So, just think about that for a minute. Let's not respond to that one for now. Let's just have a little think about it. There are several things, several exercises that can be used, but I also like to ask questions, not complicated questions, quite simple questions. So we're worrying about whatever, blah, 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 worry, 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 feeling a bit tense and a little bit stressed. So ask the question, is this happening now? Whatever it is that you're worrying about, is this happening right now? Whatever that is. Quite often the answer is going to be no, it's not. It was happening on the news last night or in the conversation in the office yesterday or whatever, but it's not happening right now. And then another question, and Leo kind of alluded to this a little while ago, is this in my control? Is this something I can actually control? Because you know what? When we try to control things that we can't control, what does it do? It sucks away our energy. It sucks away our connection with whatever it is we really need to be connected to right now. So that's a couple of interesting questions. I've got many, many more. If you want to know more questions, drop us a message, leave a comment, and I'll throw some questions in your direction. So just one more question, but I'm going to move into an exercise. What's one small thing I can do right now? So one small thing is to stop. Just stop. Focus on your breath. And the way I prefer to do this, there's many different breathing techniques, but the most simple is to breathe in through your nose for perhaps 4 seconds, hold the breath for the same, and then gently breathe out through your mouth for the same count, whatever that happens to be, comfortable to you. So just stop and breathe. And repeat that little breathe exercise 3 or 4 times, whatever feels okay. And then go back to what you were doing. Not what you were worrying about, what you were doing. And if you find yourself start to worry again, stop and breathe. Stop is a very powerful word. So you get that little word in your head, stop. And it's amazing how it disrupts the pattern, which I think is quite important. Another one that I shared this a million times, and it's so, so simple. Focus on the breathing. Stop, focus on the breathing. Choose a color that's in your room right now, any color, and don't get fussy. Don't say, well, that's not really red, it's pink. If it looks kind of red, it's red. So don't be fussy about the shades. So I'm going to choose yellow because I can see it on a cable. So yellow, and there's some more yellow up there, and there's some more yellow over there. So I'm just focusing on my breathing and looking for these colors. I'm going to do that for what, 20, 30 seconds, maybe even less, and then go back to what I was doing. So that's a really simple exercise. Two things really: breathing, stop, breathe, choose a color. There are tons more of these things. They're just little interrupters that make a difference. And what about you, Leo? What do you think?
Oh, my favorite is the physiological side, you know, when there is you breathe in, then don't let go, breathe some extra air, and then slowly. I find it very regulating. I do it while walking, not only when I'm worrying, But when I'm kind of physically active and I have to keep my breath stable, I also use it. It's called physiological sigh. Like breathe in, extra breath in, and then out. That's my favorite. And I also saw a funny one on YouTube yesterday. You roll a tube out of your tongue and start breathe through it, and it helps cooling your inside. Just notice your temperature inside, because when you are tense and when you are worried, it may seem hot
Yeah.
or frozen. Not in the sense cold, but just stuck. But when you do this breathing, it kind of cools you down. But I also want to mention one thing with like, yes, almost everybody, and we included, uh, give this advice to breathe and pay attention to the breathing. But sometimes your worry is kind of too much. People are trying to calm down as if pushing down the worry. But if it's big, if there is something on your mind, if there is a big emotion, probably when you breathe, it's not and start paying attention to your body. It's not for the sake of pushing the emotion down, but probably there's something to pay your attention to this emotion and see whether it's too big, because and ask your body what it wants to do, because sometimes it doesn't want to come down. It needs a bit of movement, a bit of emotional expression, maybe crying, maybe even shaking. And so this is something you probably should do and not be afraid of it, because we are so afraid of expressing like difficult emotions.
Yeah.
And another my favorite, that's becoming my favorite again, because I was kind of isolated and didn't have any friends here. It's finding company, people when they are calm and supportive and uh, positive, not in the euphoric sense, like happy all the time, but just stable. People tend to calm each other down. And if your spouse is there and you can just come up and have a hug and sit for a while together, if you have friends like in the bar outside, or someone you can call, and let's go and get to have a walk together, have some tea or coffee in the coffee shop, and just be together and chat, not necessarily sharing uh, things that you're worried about.
Yeah.
But if there is someone, you can even connect on internet, call somebody, uh, ask for a video call,
Yeah.
and
I
just
think we often
share.
forget that one of the words you've used quite frequently just now is being. Just be.
Just be.
Somebody, to quote somebody, possibly Dr. Wayne Dyer, I don't remember exactly, said that we are human beings, we are not human doings. Too often we spend our life doing, and we forget to be. Just be.
Yeah, but we're brought up in this ideology of don't sit there, do something, because
Yeah.
that we will think that we are lazy, non-productive or something. But your brain does so much job and so takes so much energy while worrying. So you need breaks, you need rest, you need to
Yeah.
slow down and just be. And this is something that we have to learn back.
Yeah.
It should be a necessary skill. And talking about productivity, yes, we kind of help people, at least in the start. You want to be more productive. Yes, you have to learn how to process your energy, how to plan your time and everything. But the truth is, the less you do, the better.
Yeah.
The
There's
saying
a
goes.
new research project just been released that I've not finished reading it yet, so I can't go into all of the detail. But it's talking about the brain. And in particular, it's talking about how the brain becomes quite badly damaged when our energy is severely depleted.
Yes.
And by that, they don't mean you've had a busy day at work. It's far deeper than that. So they're talking about our energy. For example, with worry and anxiety, that depletes our energy
A lot.
a lot. And that is bad for the brain. The
Worry
brain.
and anxiety is not just the brain, it's the
No,
whole
of course not.
body because it takes lots of resources from our like kidneys and adrenals, from our
Yeah,
other endocrine system because it has to run those neuromédiators and hormones like crazy. You're always in the state of running or like saving, like running for your life. And it is supposed to be a very short time when you just run away, save your butt, and then relax, get back to the relaxed mode. The humans are created to save energy, not to lose energy.
yeah,
And we
absolutely.
have to start believing into it instead of what we've been told our life, like work, 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 then you die.
Yeah, absolutely. And where I have history in my own family where two grandparents worked, retired, and died
Mhm,
very quickly after retirement, which was very sad, of course.
mhm.
But maybe there's another message in there that we need to
Yeah.
pay attention to. So, on that note, let's pause, let's stop, let's remember to breathe. And if you're struggling with any of this, it's not a problem. Leave us a message, send a comment, do whatever you need to do, and Leo and or I will respond. You might get both of us if you're lucky.
Mhm.
We'll see where we go from there. Until next time, see you again soon. All right.